Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today's update is especially important for every American who relies on Social Security to meet their monthly needs, whether you're a retiree on SSA, a recipient of Supplemental Security Income, SSI, or someone who depends on Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI. There's a new wave of momentum in Washington, D.C. as policymakers consider a proposal that could reshape your benefits in a major way. What's on the table is a potentially game-changing increase in monthly checks that could add up to a total of $3,400 more per year for millions of recipients. This isn't speculation or a rumor, it's a real proposal that's gaining traction, and people all across the country are starting to take notice. The reason this increase is so critical at this moment is because Americans are facing unprecedented economic pressures. From higher grocery bills and spiking gas prices to the ever-rising costs of rent, utilities, and healthcare, individuals and families on fixed incomes are being squeezed like never before. For many beneficiaries, Social Security is not just a portion of their income, it is their entire income. So when prices go up and benefits stay the same or rise only slightly, it puts many people in the difficult position of having to choose between medication and meals, between paying their rent and covering their utility bills. That's why this proposed increase matters. It could finally give seniors, disabled individuals, and low-income Americans some room to breathe. So, what exactly does this proposal look like? In its current form, the measure would deliver an average monthly boost of about $283 to qualifying Social Security recipients. Multiply that across a full year, and you're looking at an annual increase of approximately $3,400. For someone living on a fixed income of $1,200 or $1,500 a month, that bump could be the difference between struggling and surviving, or even thriving. It would mean the ability to afford better food, cover more of your utility costs, travel to necessary doctor appointments, or simply experience a better quality of life. This isn't just a COLA adjustment or a one-time payment. What makes this proposed increase especially impactful is that it could be a permanent adjustment, ensuring that benefits reflect not just inflation, but the real cost of living in today's America. While cost of living adjustments are important, they often fail to keep pace with the actual rise in expenses that many Social Security recipients experience year after year. The proposed $3,400 increase would be a much-needed step toward closing that gap, and it would apply broadly to multiple groups: retirees, disabled individuals, and those receiving SSI. Now, you might be wondering how close we are to seeing this proposal become law. The good news is that it has now been introduced into official budget talks and is actively being discussed in key committees. This isn't just a proposal floating around in the background, it's become part of the national conversation on how we treat our aging and disabled population. More importantly, there's growing bipartisan acknowledgement that changes to the Social Security system are long overdue. Both Democrats and Republicans are facing pressure from their constituents to take meaningful steps to protect and enhance Social Security benefits, and this proposed increase is one of the clearest signals yet that lawmakers are paying attention. Behind this proposal are some strong advocates, members of Congress who have spent years pushing for reforms that put real money into the hands of everyday people. They argue that while Social Security has helped keep millions out of poverty, the system hasn't evolved fast enough to meet the financial demands of the modern world. As a result, beneficiaries often find themselves falling further and further behind. The push for a $3,400 yearly increase is rooted in the idea that if we can afford to support corporations, military budgets, and global aid, then surely we can afford to support our own citizens who have worked, contributed, and paid into the system for decades. There's also a deep moral and social argument at play here. Social Security isn't a handout, it's a promise. It's a guarantee that if you contribute during your working years, you'll receive support when you're older, disabled, or otherwise unable to work. But if that support is too small to cover basic needs, then the system is failing its promise. This increase seeks to restore dignity to the lives of recipients. It tells seniors that their years of labor matter. It tells disabled individuals that their challenges are not ignored. It tells the most vulnerable that the government is listening. And let's not forget that Social Security doesn't just benefit individuals, it strengthens entire communities. When beneficiaries receive more each month, that money is usually spent right away on local goods and services. It goes to local pharmacies, grocery stores, utility companies, and healthcare providers. In other words, a Social Security increase helps stimulate the economy from the ground up. That's why many economists and policy experts are also backing this proposal, not just as a moral obligation but as smart economic policy. We also have to consider the long-term vision. If this $3,400 increase makes it through the legislative process, it could lay the foundation for even more comprehensive reforms. It could open the door to improved Medicare support, more accessible housing initiatives, and stronger retirement planning options. It could send a powerful message that America still values its seniors, protects its disabled citizens, and invests in its working class. Of course, there are still steps ahead. The proposal needs to pass through debate, negotiation, and approval processes in Congress. There may be amendments, delays, and compromises. But what's encouraging is that the conversation is finally focused on the right things. We're no longer just talking about how to preserve Social Security, we're talking about how to strengthen it. And that shift in focus is a sign of real progress. As always, we'll be closely monitoring every step of this proposal's journey. If and when this increase is passed into law, we'll provide detailed breakdowns of who qualifies, how payments will be adjusted, and when beneficiaries can expect to see changes in their bank accounts. In the meantime, the best thing you can do is stay informed, stay engaged, and continue to raise awareness. Let your representatives know that you support this change. The more voices behind this proposal, the greater its chance of becoming reality. Thank you for tuning in and staying with us through these important developments. We'll be back soon with more updates as they come in. Until then, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and remember, you deserve a retirement and a support system that honors the work you've done and the life you've lived. See you in the next video.